So, it's been 3 months since lockdown began. The week that lockdown started was the week that I was supposed to start a new job in a new city. But here we are today, over 3 months later. Hey, I'm Smitesh and welcome back to my channel. So, here we are 3 months later. It's definitely taught a lot about myself, what I need in my day, what gets me started and what gets me the most creative that I can be. Let me give you a little insight on what my morning used to look like and what it kind of looks like now during lockdown. Okay, so before I get into it, I am speaking very fast. It's my first time doing a speaking video, but it's got some good content in it, reflecting a lot on what's happened to me, but stay tuned, it's really good. So, before, this is what it used to look like. I would wake up at 5 a.m, I'd be in the gym by 5:30, then I'd complete my workout, normally consists of like weight training or HIIT training. I'd be home by 6:30, and then I'd be out of the door by 7:15, and at work by 7:30. So that's what it used to look like. Very quick, efficient, I was always on time. But this is what it kind of looks like now. So I'd set my alarm. So initially, when lockdown happened, I'd set my alarm for say 6, I'd get an hour workout in at home, and then I'd start my day at 8, where I'd be working from home, doing my full-time job. But then as lockdown happened, my self-discipline kind of slipped. I was just like waking up just before work, wasn't getting my morning workouts in, so then that started to slack. And then kind of made me realise like, hold on, wait, what I used to have, that kind of helped me keep disciplined, which would carry out throughout my day. This is what it looked like. So my alarm would go off around 6, snooze again, and snooze again. Now I'd pick my phone up, check my phone, go on YouTube, social media, then I'd get up. So I'd substitute my workout for going on social media, watching YouTube, and just doing stuff like that. Some days I'd find myself just on my phone, scrolling through Instagram in the evenings where normally I'd be inspired to create illustrations by stuff that I've seen during that day. But okay, so comparing these two, you must be thinking, hold on, wait, the only difference is that you're not getting up and going to the gym. But it's more than just the gym, it's actually the thinking and the principle behind actually going to the gym. Like I said, it's the discipline part which carried throughout my day, which would inherently produce better work, more efficient, and evidently more creativity. But it wasn't just the gym, it was the fact that I would get up on time. So firstly, I've already completed one task of the day, getting up on time, which is being disciplined with myself. But then also it'd be going to the gym, interacting with people, listening to their stories. But for me, it was that I was making progress first thing in the morning before I even started my day. So I'd wake up and I'd go to the gym and I'd progress my own health, whether that's through muscle training or HIIT workouts. So by doing this bit of progression or self-progression, it first thing, it get me fired up and pumped for the day to carry on self-improving myself, whether that's producing more work, being more creative and stuff like that. But then also, because I'm already out, got the fresh air, I would drive to work, which is roughly about half an hour, 40 minutes, depending on traffic. And during that time, I listen to music, listen to podcasts, educate myself on different areas. Like a few of the podcasts I listen to are the Honest Designer or the Gary Vee podcast, which is like super good for social media and growth and just personal development, which definitely helped me. Again, I'm already pumped by making this self-progression in the morning, but then following that by more inspirational stuff, it definitely got me fired up for the day. And I'll link all these podcasts down below in case you want to give them a listen as well. But you must be thinking, how is all this affecting creativity? Well, by being out, interacting with other people, being in a different environment, you get inspiration from everywhere. Like personally, I get inspiration from environments, people's stories, listening to podcasts and music, just exposing yourself to so many different things. This can all have an impact on the work you produce and how creative you are. Like, give an example. So say if I'm out and about, I'm driving to work and you see an outfit that someone's wearing and you like the colour combination, I would take that, take a picture or make a mental note, and then when I'm at my desk or once I'm in front of something that I can record it on, I will jot that down, like these colours work well together or this outfit works well together, and then I'd incorporate that into my illustrations or into my design work. So as you can see, little things that you pick up, whether it's someone's story and someone tells you something and you're like, oh, that would make a good illustration, that would make a funny illustration. Like say some of my work's been inspired by just going out and eating at a restaurant, like my dumpling one that I'll put up here. This was inspired by, I went to a new restaurant and I tried to use the chopsticks and it literally felt like the dumpling was running away from me because I went to go pick it up, it would just shoot across the table. So little things like this, by being out in the environment, interacting with other people, you get inspiration and eventually it transforms into creativity because you've created something out of a situation or by something that you've experienced. Because that's what it used to be like. I used to get a lot of my inspiration from the outdoors. But now that we're like I'm stuck at home. I'm around the same people, so the stories that I'm exposed to are limited. The amount of people that I see or environments that I'm exposed to is limited to, say, my house, and then maybe if I go for a walk. But comparing what it used to be, where I'd be out and about, exposed to different people, different situations, different environments, now it's very limited. So it's definitely had an effect on my creativity initially, where I wasn't getting like natural, I would call it natural inspiration from the environment or the people that I'm meeting up. So to conquer that, I kind of substitute other things into my daily routine, kind of help me with the natural inspiration, which kind of resulting in my creativity as well. But there are things online such as like Dribbble, Pinterest, Behance, where you can gain inspiration. But personally, I don't like to get the source of the illustration or the source of the inspiration from platforms like these, because subconsciously you see something, and then maybe like 2 days later you may think it's your idea, but because you've seen it subconsciously, you kind of end up recreating stuff that's already out there. And obviously everything is kind of recreated, but kind of like to feel that, okay, I saw this over here and then I created it. Obviously I'm not saying don't use these platforms for inspiration. Like, I do use them a lot for, like, say, if I want a colour combination, or if I'm looking at, say, different perspectives or anything. Like, I reference photography a lot for my illustrations, just to better myself on the lighting, just to give that illustration that extra little pop. I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I've incorporated into my daily routine being in lockdown, which has definitely helped, and I feel like I've been incorporating it a lot more even once lockdown's over. So there are 4 main things that I've started including. So the 4 main are reading, increasing the amount of music and podcasts I listen to, increasing the amount of comedies that I'll watch, and finally watching more interviews. So firstly, increase the amount of reading. So previous to lockdown, I didn't really read much at all, because I used to consume a lot of my stuff by either watching or listening. But I thought reading would be a great skill for me to develop on. I don't read much. I'm a very visual person, so with reading, I've okay, so for reading, this is one book that I've definitely recommend. It's really good, just explaining a lot about people who create content and literally, like it says, show your work. So it gives you tips, tricks. But I found this very useful, as it inspired me not in the creative way, but in a way to give me a different way of thinking. I definitely recommend that book. But like I say, that's one book, but then also books about people and their stories and how they've got through certain situations. And it's again, instead of me going out into a different environment and being exposed to different stories, I'm kind of reading people's stories which they've put down in books, as I can't really expose myself to at the moment, but also give me tips and tricks to develop myself, like through personal development, different ways of thinking and stuff like that. Okay, secondly, so more music and podcasts. So through this, you can get inspiration anywhere. So with music, I listen to a lot of rap, mumble rap it comes under, so it's not really lyrical based, but it's very beat based. So I get a lot of inspiration by, I honestly don't know much about music, but I'm just saying what I think about it. But like, say, one of the artists I listen to is Young Thug, and he changes his flow and his tone a lot, and it's kind of translated a bit into the way that I include like texture and smoothness, but then also like some super rough things. And obviously with my new style, where I'm using a lot more heavy strokes instead of this smooth, gentle aesthetic. So that's one way that music has helped me. But also music relaxes me. So when I'm relaxed, I think clearly, and it definitely helps me with the amount of work that I produce. So thirdly, watching more interviews. So this is again substituting the part where I can't expose myself to people's stories and experiences. So by watching interviews, you gain some inspiration from maybe something they've experienced or something they've done, or people that they've met, and you can transform it into an illustration, or you can gain a little bit of inspiration from that story to include in your illustrations. And then finally, more comedic or more comedy films. So I love laughing. I'm always like smiley. Like friends and family who know me, I'm always smiling. And that's because I perform the best when I'm relaxed, chilled. And watching comedies definitely relaxes me. It's funny. And I enjoy creating funny content. Like, say, some of my illustrations, like running dumpling or dumpling chilling in hot sauce, or even like my temping chicken. These are just things that just create a reaction, makes me laugh. Like, sometimes I create the content, I'm like, what have I done? Like, I look at it and I'm like, this is funny, but where did this come from? But that's why increasing the amount of comedy films I watch, it definitely puts me in a chilled, relaxed state, putting me at peak performance for creating the best content that I can. So lockdown definitely has been hard initially. Like, I was finding like lack of creativity, lack of inspiration. I was finding myself just creating stuff just for the sake of creating it, not because I felt like, okay, this would be a good illustration. But after taking that step back and looking at what I was doing, how to change up my routine to accommodate for the situation that we're in at the moment, it's definitely helped. Personally, self-development for me has always been good, keeps me going, keeps me pushing through it. But that's all for today, guys. Hope that was helpful. If you did find it useful, let me know in the description below, and let me know what you're including in your routine. If you haven't already, don't forget to check out my Instagram, Design with Smith. I do a lot of my illustrations on here. This is a slightly different video, but I will be doing a lot more like this, as I feel it's more important to connect with the audience and also give value other than through my illustrations. But that's all for today, guys. Until next time.